The 404 Show is supported by City Cards with Android Pay. Are you listening to our fine program on your phone? Well, now you can pay while you listen using the same device. Just tap and go. Download the Android Pay app on Google Play or visit city.com/Android Pay to get started. Android Pay is available for eligible City consumer credit and debit cards. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Friday, September 2nd, 2016. Welcome back to the 404 Show. My name is Jeff Bacalar. Across the way from me, back from his Nordic adventure.
Tan and supple and muscled from my Nordic adventure.
He's gained at least 30 pounds. It's Russ Frushtick.
Hello, everybody.
In between us, longtime friend, the legacy, the myth, the legend, Justin Yu. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Justin.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I know whenever I invite you on, it's spur of the moment kind of stuff. So I really appreciate you having that sort of spontaneity.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you know what? It's Friday. I'm in a good mood. I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's rocking like a Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops today.
Yeah.
Just in the loose Jimmy Buffett style.
It's cheeseburger in paradise today.
It's always cheeseburgers in paradise with you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
What's new in your life? What are you up to?
I'm waging war at home right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's
Tough
bad.
You guys on the rocks?
No, not me and Peony.
Love on the
okay,
rocks.
good.
Ain't
Love
no
on
big
the rocks.
surprise.
Ain't no big
No, that's okay. Everything over there is fine. I'm talking about a mouse in the house.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
let's
like
talk
that
about
movie,
vermin.
Mouse Hunt.
Yeah, dude, I'm having a really bad problem.
Is it one mouse or is it several mice?
Well, you know what? I thought it was one up until a month ago, and then I saw another one.
He's got friends.
But we got one of them, and the other is just, I don't know. This guy is so smart.
It's called a search party.
We've tried several different types of traps.
Do you know where he's coming out of?
Yeah, I think he's behind the stove.
Have you moved the stove out?
Yeah, and he just, I don't know. We can't actually find where he lives. We've patched up all the holes in the house, tried all these different kinds of traps. The one that we set last night, I really got to show you guys a picture of this, and I'll describe it as I'm showing you. So we rigged up a.
Is it like a bathtub and then a marble goes down a track?
Yeah, basically,
sick.
almost like that. It's literally like a mouse trap
Rube
from the board game.
Goldbergian, yeah.
So it's a bucket, right?
Okay.
With a wire hanger stretched across it. Right?
Okay.
And then there's a can that we poked a hole through so that it fits onto the wire that goes across the bucket. Right? Then we slathered the can with peanut butter.
The inside
and then
can.
made the outside of the can.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see.
Right,
Okay.
the can is hollow, obviously.
Okay.
So, and then we put a ramp up
Like a
leaning onto.
springboard.
There's no spring.
Oh, no. I mean, like, is that like where he's supposed to run up and jump? for it?
Yeah. So the idea is that the mouse will run up the ramp and he'll see the can with all that peanut butter on it, try to get up onto the can, and when he does, he falls into the bucket.
Right.
What? That's a bucket?
Yeah.
But mice can get out of buckets?
Not if it's filled with cyanide.
Not if
It's filled with acid.
Yeah, it's filled with hydrochloric
Just
acid.
gonna see like a. You're gonna see like
That's horrible. It's just a mouse skeleton inside. No, it's filled with water, which is not much worse. He's gonna
Yeah,
You're gonna
drown.
drown a freaking rat.
Yeah, I'm
What's
not
the
gonna.
alternative?
Yeah, put in like a vat of peanut butter in there so he eats himself.
You're
to
about.
death.
I love it. It's like, oh, come have some tasty, delightful peanut butter. Death.
Yeah, and then we put little morsels of peanut butter leading up to the top of
Where
the
did
bucket.
you?
So it's like,
Where did you read how to do this?
I mean, I had to really consult a lot of hacks online.
Really?
because
There's that?
We tried all these different types
Oh.
of bait. We've tried, like raw meat. We've tried duck fat.
Sure.
Peanut butter, regular
Let me
butter.
ask you, have
all
you
these
tried
different kinds
cleaning
of
the
bait.
house?
That's pretty good. Come on, that's not bad.
That's after the bucket.
And after the bucket, we'll just get a maid.
I will move out first before that happens, sir.
That's not a bad joke.
Yeah, we've tried that. We tried putting all all of our food is in these like Tupperware containers that are sealed, and it's just driving us crazy because we could see little mouse droppings on our stove. It doesn't make people want to come over and hang out. By the way, you guys are invited over to dinner.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Free.
Can't wait to get over there.
It's a nightmare, man.
Yeah, that's bad. And do you hear it skittering?
No, that's the thing. This guy's a phantom.
Okay.
We started off trying to do the humane traps.
Yeah,
the ones that like just put them inside and then we release them outside.
Right.
No, now I want this guy dead.
Okay, well,
Couldn't you just coat? No kidding. The entire floor with like sticky traps.
We could do that.
The entire floor.
Yeah, and then have like a Tarzan pulley to like swing across.
Totally.
We could do that. I gotta show you guys pictures of the mouse that we got.
I don't want
you
to see.
found
Is
him?
it
Did you
brutal?
kill him?
Oh, it's so brutal.
Oh, I don't want to see.
Oh yeah, I don't want to
to
see that. How did that one die?
So we used those classic traps for the Victor
yeah,
traps.
gross.
You know?
the neck breakers.
Where you set it and it's like.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because you snap the thing's neck and it's just like.
I guess that's more humane than drowning.
No, there were signs of struggle, man. Because I put it on one side of the room and he flailed
Oh
himself.
shit,
on the room.
that's terrible.
man.
And then it made this sound when I
It's like
peeled it
saw.
off. Oh, it was-
Wait, you peeled what off?
Oh, he's doing it.
Why wouldn't you just pick up the whole trap and throw it away?
I tried, but it was stuck to the ground. It was stuck to the linoleum because
that's
of the blood.
heinous.
I'm sorry, guys, for everyone
That's
watching.
so
I'm
gross.
very lucky. We had one right when we were moving in. The
Yeah.
apartment was empty. We moved in about a year ago. Apartment was completely empty, probably empty for about 6 months. And we found one like medium-sized roach in one of the bathrooms.
Oh no! See,
And I was like, this
That's
is
not
a
okay.
disaster.
What
I'm
would you-
really worried.
What would you rather have, a roach or a
oh
mouse?
come on, that's an
Definitely
easy
a
question.
mouse.
Yeah,
Definitely a mouse.
absolutely.
Because
I live
roaches
with a mouse.
can come in the millions.
Yeah.
And like they multiply.
come in the
anyway,
millions.
Roaches fly, by the way.
they do.
I realized
And
this
they
summer,
fly.
I read an article that said that roaches fly, but in the summertime. So when
Yeah,
it gets humid, they'll fly from higher ground to lower ground.
Because they've earned their wings.
Yay. They evolved. So we found that one.
Yeah.
But as we were like we were slowly moving stuff in,
Yeah.
and there was a chart to like sign up for an exterminator in the elevator.
yeah.
So we signed up for that, and then we didn't move in for another like 4 days, and it's been a year, and I have not seen a single significant bug since. There's
Roach
been like a
again.
little
Okay.
fly here
Yeah.
and there.
All
but
right.
Whatever.
Well, so it sounds like you're in the clear for that.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Wait, so we got to talk more. Do you hear babies?
Wait, you know what the
I hear
best
babies.
offense? I do hear babies.
What the?
Oh, Scott's family is here. That's what
Oh,
it
I
is.
bet that's picking
do
up
you-
on the mic.
Oh, cool. That's great. Let's have more babies.
Do you know
here.
what the best weapon to protect yourself against insects in your home is?
Hmm.
A Dyson vacuum.
Oh, just suck them right up.
It's the best.
Yeah, but
Is
then
that
you
what-
have to
and
empty it.
they're 6 feet tall too, or 6 feet long.
the
so you'd have to
bugs are
get-
6 feet long?
The bugs, no, the vacuum 6 feet long, so the hose
Where it's
is
a bug
like
hunt.
super long. It's the best. You don't have to touch
Yeah.
it at all. You do have to empty it, but it's just one button that goes straight into
Yeah,
a
I got a
trash can.
Dyson.
No problem.
What are they? The little ones.
Dustbuster?
Dustbuster.
Yeah.
Get
for
one.
the wedding, and it was a nice asset.
Wait, okay, so let's go back to the mouse thing. So you're still in active pursuit.
Oh, yeah.
So listen to this. Okay, this is going to gross even more people out. Maybe people that don't know this about me when I was in college. When I was in college, I was in a very shitty apartment in Baltimore. Again, let me highlight the words very and shitty.
I thought you were going to say Baltimore.
Well, I mean, those are two interchangeable terms, my good friend. Anyway, I live with two other friends of mine, and we were not the cleanliest of men,
Sure,
as
yeah.
most college
Pizza
boys
boxes
are
everywhere, yeah.
not. It was disgusting. We never cleaned. It was filthy. Our kitchen was a disaster, and we had always heard that the complex that we were in was notorious for mice, yet we did not take any preventative measures to do that. So anyway, we're there for a year, and we ain't seen one mouse. And I'm
okay.
like, hey, well, this mouse rumor is a bunch of hooey.
Sure.
Because you've never seen one.
Oh, God.
And then they arrived.
Ratatouille style.
To the point where, like, we just had to coexist.
Yeah.
Like, there was no getting rid of them. Like, they had moved in silently in the night,
Yeah.
and it was like they made a trailer park.
Yeah.
Like, there was a bunch of them in the kitchen, and they clearly, like, knew what was up. And they're like, you guys haven't done shit. Like, we infiltrate really, really terrible apartments, and this one was by far the easiest. So we had to just live with them. And I just lived with, like, there was one that would always go in my room. And when
Yeah.
you're 20, you just, I don't know. Right
Yeah.
now, I wouldn't stand for that. But when you're 20, you're kind of just like,
now
what?
this is happening.
You're just like,
Yeah.
you're like, whatever. I got a pet.
Yeah.
And the thing was kind of cute. It was a field mouse. It wasn't like it wasn't a
Yeah.
city mouse. So I saw this furry, cute little thing every now and then. I'm like, oh, hey,
You're like,
I named it Larry, and we live together.
Yeah, you're passing out every night anyway. It's not causing you
Right?
any
Come
sleep.
on.
Sleeping in your mouth.
Come on. That is a very good visual. I love it.
Larry in there.
So, all right. So the rodent discussion aside, Russ Frushtick, you are back from Iceland.
Iceland.
That's great. How was it?
Not as cold or icy as the name might imply.
Yeah, I was expecting cold weather throughout.
I mean, it's not a warm place, but yeah. So it was like 55, 60.
Wow.
We were very lucky, very little rain. But it is like if you live in New York City in August, or really most places in August, you're just miserable and it's sticky and it's gross and it's hot. It was like being in an entire country that's air conditioned. It was just like such a delight. Like it felt like this going outside, like in this room that is air conditioned and like nice.
That is the best description of a place I've ever heard.
It was really
For me, for Jeff.
Yeah, perfect Jeff weather. Yeah, it's really terrific. We did all the like typical, whale watching, horseback riding. We went into an ice cave.
So, like, what do you do? Like, is that what you do there?
Yeah, so I think there's a few ways you can do Iceland, and obviously
it's not big. It's not a big place.
So there's only 300,000 people in the whole country.
That's
to give you just a frame of reference. So Reykjavik is the city everyone hears about. There's only 100,000-ish people in Reykjavik. The town I grew up in had 30,000 people.
Yeah.
The second largest city in Iceland has 30,000 people.
Wow.
Like it's tiny. So the second that you get out of Reykjavik, it's just like you're in a nuclear wasteland. Like
why nuclear?
Well, because it's volcanic. So you just have these like large expanses of just like black rock and sand, and it looks like the moon. They actually trained the astronauts, the Apollo astronauts in Iceland, trained them to how to do like walking around on the moon. So they were in full spacesuits before they went out in the 60s, walking around Iceland because it mimicked the moon so closely.
Huh. So how old is the island then?
It's by years I don't actually know, but it is the youngest country on the planet. Obviously, it's very, very old still.
Sure.
But compared to anywhere else, it's very new because it's all volcanic. So none of the trees are like higher than 4 feet.
Huh.
Because I think it's 2,000 years after a volcanic eruption is the soonest that things can start growing.
Wow.
So it kind of gives you an idea. And they still have, there's tons of active volcanoes still around. So they could,
is it an issue there? Like,
no. So I was talking to a guy, you might remember a few years back, the like big one went off.
Was that in Iceland?
That was in Iceland. It was 2010.
That's the one with like 40 letters in its name, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was there for 2 weeks and I have no idea how to pronounce it. But so it went off and basically disrupted worldwide air travel because of the ash. It was flying in the air, and if you fly through that in a plane, it does pretty bad things to the plane. But in Iceland, they said hardly any impact whatsoever.
Right, because it drifted away.
It just and there was no like lava flow that was totally destroying anything.
Iceland just like crop dusted the planet, basically, is what they did. And that was it.
Yeah, so, and they're very laid back people, very chill. Like everyone that I met was like very friendly. Everyone speaks English, which is nice. No tipping, which I love.
That's not just Iceland.
I know, but it's great.
That's the only reason why you went to Iceland.
Well, it's way expensive. It is very expensive. So it definitely. But the convenience
a
of
Jew
no
can't
tipping.
do that. Like, okay, back it up real quick. We can't say that. Like, we can't go around being like, and there was no tipping. It was great. You understand the context.
I understand the context. Let me clarify for people.
I'm just saying, like, that's not something that I would knowingly say.
Let me clarify.
And you've, for the record,
Twice. I've said it twice. I love. Honestly, I think it's great. So
it wasn't even on the air last time.
There were no tipping.
It's such an asset. So everything is very expensive there. To give you an idea, price wise, the way I compare it,
this
it's like
isn't helping.
New York. I know New York plus like 30%. So it's very expensive there.
Yeah.
But all like how it is in most of the world, all of the prices factor in the salary of the employee, the waiter
relative.
or waitress.
Yeah.
So it's relative. Yeah. So you do not have to do like 10% math or whatever. You don't have to carry around cash. I use the credit card everywhere.
But didn't you get rammed in foreign
credit
charges?
Cards. Over the course of 2 weeks, I probably had $100.
All right, whatever.
It was not significant.
Right.
So, but it's just like there's a huge convenience factor to just like not having to worry about like constantly going to the bank and ATM and changing stuff. If I could live in a world that was like in New York, we're starting to see some restaurants that are getting rid of tipping and just factoring in that 15 or 20%
into what they make,
into the food
price.
cost.
Yeah.
And every time I go to the restaurants, I'm thrilled because it's like, oh, I don't have to do math. I know exactly what this is going to cost me.
That makes
and
sense.
It's good for the employees. They don't have to like whatever. And it's not like the service was terrible in Iceland. It was very nice. People were friendly. So I loved it. Let's end tipping, guys. Enough already.
I'm with you. For whatever reason, we are like the weirdest country when it comes to tipping. Like the tipping culture that we've devised is like,
it just feels like like you're trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes in terms of how much money you're spending.
So it's not even that too. Like it goes beyond that, and this will take us away from Iceland for a second. But like, there's when I explain tipping to like, when I go to the airport and the guy grabs my bags, if I do like curbside checking, I'll give him like $2, right? Mm-hmm. That is crazy. Like the whole notion of what we do with tipping and why we just give people money for kind of no reason is very weird, and from as far as I understand it, exclusive to American culture.
Well, and it's also weird that like a lot of salaries, I don't think the bag guy necessarily has this factored into his salaries, but like certainly a waiter's salary is determined by tipping.
Totally.
They would not be paid a legal wage. I think their hourly is like
less than
$4
wage,
or something like that. But you factor in the tipping, and then it like works out.
Right.
It's such a pain in the ass.
Okay, back to Iceland. You didn't get to see the Northern Lights because
it's not wrong time of year for Northern Lights. But it got dark. No joke. The sun went down. We stayed up one night because we just kept passing out at 11:30 at night.
When the sun goes down.
Is when the sun went down in August when we were there. It's great because you get like the full day, and you don't you're not worried about the missing the light and driving around in the dark.
That's got to play hell with your internal clock, though.
It
right?
actually wasn't that bad. All the houses have blackout curtains because in July it's 24 hours sunlight. Wow. Like the sun never drops.
So how many hours of darkness were there really?
Probably
when you were there.
Like true night, probably about 3 hours.
Wow, that's cool.
It's weird, right?
But the rest is like twilight, and then full day, starting it very early. I do want just take for a minute and try to picture me on a horse, galloping on a horse, because I've only done it twice, and this was the first time I'd ever actually galloped.
So when I picture you, all 120 pounds, bopping up and down on a horse, I just see all your bone shattering.
It was 100% one of the most painful experiences of my life.
I was saying, he comes in, he was walking funny. I'm like, Will, why are you walking funny?
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know.
Not a lot of padding on the bottom.
Well, here's the question I have about horseback riding, and horse experts call in and let us know. Couldn't you just have like a horse saddle that's like 17 inches of memory foam padding?
I think you could.
Why not?
Because then you'd be too high up.
Yeah,
right?
you can't do that.
No, because you would sink in a little bit.
No, you can't.
And you could ride it like a camel with like a really long rein.
That is not what you can do.
You could wear cycling shorts with padding, like a chamois padding outside.
I guarantee you there's solutions for this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're also supposed to stand up while you're galloping, so you're actually using your legs as like a spring.
Right,
and
so your
your
hips
butt is
don't
not
shatter.
hitting. Yeah. I have a very bony butt, as you'd imagine, and it was a pretty. Well, not only that, I borrowed a camera with me, like a nice 5D Canon camera, and I brought it on the horseback ride, and the guide kept being like, "Hey, you guys want to gallop?" And I was like, the first time I was like, "Sure," and then the first time, so I have the camera strapped to me on like whatever strap, but the second the horse starts going, the camera flips like behind me and starts like lifting off my back and then slamming into my back like a wrecking ball. By the end of it, I had a bruise, like a significant bruise on my back from this. I mean, the camera's like,
can you do anything and not
8
get
or 9
injured?
pounds. I don't think so. I think I'm designed to be. I think I'm Mr. Glass from.
You are,
that movie.
dude. You are. It used to be you.
It feels good.
You've passed the torch.
The problem is I just don't know to not do things, so I'll like say yes to a lot of stuff that I know is going to hurt.
These are skinny guy problems. I sympathize
Skinny guy
with
problems.
Russ,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Is that what this was in the thing?
Well, I was going to mention. I actually did put it in the rundown. I don't know about you, Justin, but I do want to know, when you pass like a skinny guy on the street, do you like think about like he's my man? Like we share a common
That's pretty funny.
A common level here.
Like I feel your pain.
Like I've understand like we sort of understand what because everyone's like, hey, why don't you eat some more? Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
my whole life, right?
right.
So like, you have a lot of
I
similar...
feel like a lot of people tell this to my girlfriend too, which I think is kind of offensive.
Feed him
Even like,
more.
oh, why don't you feed him? Or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, and I like roll my eyes. It's like stupid, but like,
Peony goes, no, I like him skinny.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing she does not like of skinny, she says that cuddling with me is like sleeping next to a bag of remote controls.
oh,
Just a big sack of remotes.
Just a bunch of twigs wrapped in a bed sheet.
Just jabbing her in the side all
rolls
night.
and quarters.
Oh God! Just imagine sleeping on the corner of a textbook. Oh, no.
Oh no!
That's
What
funny.
is? So you walk down the street and
she loves it.
You like tip your hat.
I don't
You're like,
tip
"Oh,
my
she-
hat,
Yeah,
but
I
I do.
don't do that, man.
But I do. I think
That's
about
taking
it
it too
because
far.
I mean, I don't like I don't make eye contact or anything like that. But I do think like it's somewhat unheralded because like obviously like you can't walk down the street or whatever. No one's gonna come up to like a fat person and be like, "Stop eating, fatty."
Right.
But like
You're not wrong.
Right?
There's similar things there.
it's kind of just like a standard that no one's really.
Well, the other
factored
thing
in.
too is the biggest problem with skinny guy issues is that most people aren't afraid to point out what they consider to not be necessarily like a physical
Right.
But here's the thing.
think
though.
they're
I don't have.
complimenting
I'm
you,
not
maybe.
self-conscious about it at
No,
all.
I don't care
But
either.
anytime somebody comments
just
on
think
your body, it's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Of
what
course.
you just said, no one would be like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
looking extra big today."
Well, that's the thing too, right? Like if you're skinny, no one sees that as bad,
Right.
Right?
No.
They think they're complimenting you on
Right?
it.
They
Right.
don't look the way someone who's obese is like you're gonna die if you don't lose weight.
Yeah.
I don't think the polar opposite is true about being skinny. And you guys, for the record, are not overly skinny.
I'm pretty skinny.
Russ is like.
I mean, we're both really.
it's not for
skinny.
lack of
and
trying.
I'm tall too, so it's a lankiness.
My
issue for
parents
me.
tried to force feed me ice cream as a kid. Not
Yeah.
force feed, like hold me down,
What
but
do you
like they were
weigh?
like, I haven't weighed myself in a while, but probably 140. if
Oh
I
my
had to
god!
guess.
I was gonna say, do I weigh more than the both of you? And I was like, no, come on, there's no way. I can't jump on.
That'd be a
so
problem.
yeah, so you see another skinny guy, you go, I'll see you
My
at the
guy.
meeting.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the meeting,
Right, yeah,
and
at the buffet.
and you go, hold on, it's gonna be windy today.
Brace yourself.
you bring your grab
There's like scuba weights that you put on.
Hey, there's a grate up there. Watch out. Big grate coming up.
There's a crack in the floor. Watch it. That's pretty good, guys.
The problem is that you can't complain about skinny guy problems because nobody wants to hear
Right, no
that
one wants
shit.
to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
There's
like
enough
crying
already.
me a river.
Shut up.
you're
Why don't you go
skinny.
eat something?
Yeah, exactly.
That is very funny. Oh man, I needed that. I
Yeah.
needed that on this Friday. So anything else before we pause for a break here about
No,
Iceland?
go to Iceland.
Did you get into a hot spring?
I got into the Blue Lagoon is like the big one. That's
course.
like the famous one. So I went there.
Geothermically
I went
cool?
into an ice
warm,
cave,
rather?
which was like the coolest effing.
Oh, I get it. It was cool.
It was yes, very cool.
Super chill.
Not for the claustrophobic. Very kind of terrifying there. It was kind of like
was
being
it like
born again.
How Caverns, like we did?
No, it was far more tight and dark, and it was not like touristy at all. You hike for like an hour, and then you go into a literal cave. There's no lighting, and you've got like headlamps, and it's honestly it's like being birthed. You have to like cramble through this like. little,
I don't know if I could do
it was
that.
intense,
I
but
don't
very
know.
cool, very cool.
All right, very good.
I recommend it.
Do you have a gallery of the photos you took somewhere publicly?
I'm not
no,
gonna share that
Well, you
publicly.
should share the sheep poop.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I took a picture of a
Great
sheep taking a dump.
Can
It's
we?
pretty good.
Can you send me that? Because I
Yeah.
want to post that. Russ took this majestic photo of a it's a sheep
Yeah, it's a sheep.
of a sheep pooping, but he caught the photo like mid poop, like the
Yeah.
poop was falling.
Falling. It's an amazing.
The sheep
shot.
must have been sheared recently because you would think that it get caught up in some of that wool.
Oh,
But
I
it
I
didn't.
do want to. Sorry, before we take a break, I do want to mention one thing since you mentioned it.
Yeah.
So they do have a whole process for collecting sheep and shearing them every year
Right.
because it's their big industry there. There's 1 million sheep.
That's all they got.
and
They just grow
300,000
sheep.
people. So they were talking about the sheep and they were like, well, you don't have to worry about like. I was asking like, are they all marked? And they're like, yeah, they've all got tags and branding and stuff. And I was like, what about the baby sheep that are born throughout the year? Because they essentially let them run.
You mean
almost
veal?
free. Veal, sure. And then they were like, oh no baby sheep because it's just females out there. The males stay locked inside.
What?
So you can't have like random sheep mating with each other.
Oh, gotcha.
But then I thought, I've heard this before. only females can't have random breeding. What's going to happen here?
Life's gonna find a way.
Life's going to find a way. Very terrifying.
there you
So
have it.
Iceland, brace yourself. Brace yourself for some
What do you
Jurassic
think is
Park
gonna
action.
happen?
I think sheep are going to go wild. Jurassic
No,
Park
what's
style.
going to happen is the DNA they use to finish the
Right.
sequence.
BD Wong is going to be there and he's going to screw something up.
That's there you go. There you have it. Send out the warning to all Icelandic people.
Yes.
Watch out. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll actually get to a few stories that orbit the tech world. Vaguely. Some interesting stuff happening this week.
Yeah.
I was away. I didn't really know, but it's happening. More 404 right after this. The 404 Show is supported by City Cards with Android Pay. How cool is it that we live in a world where you can use the same device to listen to our fine program and buy your morning coffee, groceries, and more? And did I mention it's a super fast way to pay? Just use your City Card with Android Pay at the register. Get in, get it, get going. Download the Android Pay app on Google Play or visit city.com/Android Pay to get started. Android Pay is available for eligible City consumer credit and debit cards. Hey, welcome back to the show. First thing I want to talk about with Russ and Justin, you here. So you guys, I know you have iPhones, right? But you've heard about the Note Galaxy 7, right? The Galaxy Note 7?
Yes.
Oh, they got recalled, right?
Yeah, that's how in 2 weeks after this freaking phone comes out, it is basically the largest recall they've ever had to do.
How many phones is it they recalled?
I don't know. I don't know how many they are doing, but I think it's all. I think it's all of them.
They were, yeah, I did hear they were exploding, right? Is that the issue?
The battery is exploding.
Yeah, that's a problem.
They said today, because of the problem with the battery, they're halting sales of the new device, and they're recalling and replacing the phones they've already sold. This is just 2 weeks after it's gone released worldwide. That sucks because guess what's about to come out in
iPhone.
like 2 weeks?
Yeah. Next week.
No, well, the announcement,
release,
it'll be
yeah.
probably end of September, the new iPhone.
Right.
You know, I would say that it's a good time to be an Apple owner, but didn't iPhones have this exact same problem a couple years ago?
don't know
They were
about
randomly exploding in people's pockets?
Exploding?
Yeah.
I don't think it was iPhone.
Maybe not on this large of a scale.
This is scary though because they've like 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
and there's already been enough incidents where they have to recall every single freaking one they've sold.
Were there any reviews of the phone that said it explodes?
No, that would probably have made
You think like
some
a
sort
7 out of 10
headline.
maybe?
Yeah, I feel like, well, we dinged it because it burned a hole in my leg.
3.5 stars.
3.5 out of 5. I don't know. A lot of people have been claiming that they're overheating, and now the exploding thing
That's
is a factor
really
too.
crazy.
Dude, having your phone like, I don't understand how this passes any sort of quality.
Has anyone
assurance.
gotten seriously hurt with this in their pocket?
Not that I've heard of, but like it's got to.
That'd
Well,
probably
obviously,
hurt really bad.
that would
That would
really
be a bummer.
hurt.
I get scared. Like people use those cell phone chargers, those like sketchy cell phone chargers.
Yeah,
I hate those.
And it's really like I honestly
get
think
hot,
they're
too.
gonna like really do some damage.
For sure.
The iPhone went through bend gate shit. It went through the antenna
antenna
gate,
stuff.
Right,
that
right.
stuff. No, I don't ever remember them dealing with one, a phone that was exploding.
Although I feel like
remember
right,
there's overheating issues with one of them though.
yeah, I feel like right now the headphone jack thing is the big controversy surrounding the next one.
What do you think
Right.
about that, Justin?
I think they're going to do it, and here's why. This is my prediction: is that once they
Well, they are going to do it
well,
for sure.
yeah, once they get rid of that, they're going to put DRM on all digital files that come through the iPhone.
Wait,
Really? No.
I think that's what's going to happen.
so like
That's my
HTTP for audio?
Yeah, that's
essentially?
my conspiracy
No
theory.
way.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're doing that to save a little bit of real
Yeah,
estate.
yeah, I think they're doing that to make it a little bit thinner, and then also to get people to probably buy their headphones. that are
They
coming in.
traded it for another speaker.
Well, that's what they did.
That's crap.
That-
I don't need another speaker.
Spatially on the 7, that's what it looks like it is
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely to make the thing thinner, and it probably frees up a little bit more real estate inside there.
I think it's a good idea, though. How many headphones have you guys had that have broken just because you keep sitting down with the phone in your pocket, and then that plug just starts wearing
but
out over
no.
time, and then
The
eventually the left and right
Well,
channels
you-
go
you're
up.
a
That
ho-
happens to all of my headphones.
Right, but you're a heavy user. You're like a way above
anytime I'm
average
out,
user.
No, not for a New Yorker. I feel like anyone that would leave the office in New York.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably
I
use it
would
about
put
as much as he
headphones
does. I agree with you, but I don't think that that will prevent like those lightning plugs break
Oh, I just mean
Sooner
if people
than-
just use Bluetooth instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Like, I don't want to go to Bluetooth. You
yeah,
don't
no.
want to.
Yeah, I've been testing some decent earbuds
Really?
lately that are
Whoa.
completely Bluetooth. Yeah.
I'm surprised you're saying that.
There's one called Earin that is pretty good.
It's called
Earin.
That sounds a lot like urine.
A 5-year-old's brain, yes. But yeah, a lot of them work great, and the only problem with some of them is that the left and right will go out every once in a while when you turn your head.
Yeah.
This
Oh.
one doesn't
So
do
it's like
that.
listen to a Led Zeppelin album.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like one would be like, whoosh. And the Earins don't do that. So far, anecdotally, I like those. Once we get to that area where they're pretty reliable.
I just don't want to
switch over.
charge headphones every night.
I know, I know
sucks.
how that feels. Yeah.
Well, look, dude, everything you own is getting charged every night. This is the direction we're
My
headed.
headphones are not right now.
But you understand
I don't
want
want
to
to go that way.
Guess what, man?
The
That's-
future.
I
What
don't
if they'll
know.
sound better if they? Have to
I'd be
plug them in?
fine with it if wireless like charging was a thing where you could just put a bunch of crap on a mat. And
Yeah.
I realize we're getting there, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
get there.
We, for iPhone users, Android users have had that for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Android. I mean, it depends. Some of the phones do wireless charging,
But it wouldn't necessarily do it for all your devices. Obviously, it wouldn't do it for all your devices.
Yeah, not
They've
the
tried to standardize that, but it's just not happening yet.
What do you guys think of this rumor that this iPhone 7, which is going to be announced next week, is essentially the last in this era of this model iPhone, and then the iPhone that'll come in 2017 will be a
Flip phone?
huge, dramatic, not a flip phone, like a full glass front wireless charging.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
think that's what's going to happen?
I think that's why this is the first time they've ever had the round number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they come out with the S's, which are the
Yeah.
off years, right?
Sure.
This is the first time that the 7, the next number upgrade, is an incremental upgrade,
Right.
right? So they're prepping 2 years now in between instead of 1.
Right.
So for something big, and I think the iPhone 8, they'll probably just call it 8.
Yeah.
What was the last one that didn't have the curved back? That didn't have the flat back. It was the curved. Is that the 5?
I want to say 4.
I think even maybe the 3GS.
Oh,
I think the
yeah.
3GS was the last major
Curved.
physical change to the phone. Ever since then, it's just been bigger or smaller, right?
Right. They've done a few things.
Yeah, they've certainly changed the body and stuff.
But every time it goes from 4 to 5, 5
Yeah.
to 6, it's been a major
Significant
thing.
Yeah.
When you go 4S, 5S, 6S was always sort of,
The incremental ones,
Right.
yeah.
I'm a big Apple guy. I love Apple products.
Oh, yeah. You do.
I do not like if all of the rumors that they're saying are true, there is really very little that's encouraging me to get a new phone.
It sounds like the only thing with the 7 is that they're going to add another lens to the back camera
it's
so you can
like-
take HDR photos better.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's the problem. I mean, the anticipation is very tepid at best. Like,
Yeah.
it is just not a very sexy time to have a new phone.
Right. I would get if it was the full glass like wireless charging iPhone, I'd get that in a heartbeat. But yeah, that could be another year. So especially dropping the headphone jack, I don't know, man. It's going to be a hard sell for me.
Yeah. All right. More on that next week. We're actually going to be at the event live on Wednesday of next week. That's the 7th.
All three of us, right?
No, we'll have people there. We'll be at the PlayStation Neo thing. that
I
they're
will
gonna
not be.
do.
I'm actually flying to Seattle that day.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right. I wanted to bring up this topic. This is crazy. Makes you think about what the future generations are going to be like, not having been exposed to as many commercials as maybe perhaps we were when we were kids. This article from Engadget says Netflix saves kids from over 150 hours of commercials a year. That according to Nielsen, which says the average time that a child spends watching television as opposed to generations past is much less filled with commercials.
This seems
thanks
like
to
crap.
services like Netflix.
I think that's crap.
Moving along. Why?
Well, that doesn't mean that kids aren't being exposed to more advertising.
That's what I'm saying.
Because physical advertisements, obviously YouTube and
course.
things like that, and then the web
Right.
just has a million.
That's what I'm
Right,
saying. I
but-
think they're probably seeing more ads, maybe not as many per hour.
And they're seeing ads they can skip. They're seeing ads that are just presented on a different sort of wavelength.
How to make your
maybe-
dick bigger, stuff like that.
That's
More
important.
targeted
You know, they are definitely seeing more targeted stuff. But I don't know. I find that interesting because I feel like a lot of the bulk of advertising that we were exposed to when we were young was like TV,
Yep.
baseball games.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I feel like baseball, I have this legacy memory of like whenever I'm at a baseball stadium, I always see like the same sodas and cigarettes and all that stuff growing up.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know? That's dating us a little bit with cigarette ads at the ballpark. But yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, although they do have to see all those commercials for the Adam Sandler movies. That's kind of a drag.
That does suck for them. But yeah, they present the data in a graph and talk about how much streaming television averages by age.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
I know that it's a good thing that kids aren't being brainwashed by commercials anymore, but at the same time, I feel like we all have this, at least people in our generation, have this collective nostalgia over certain characters and commercials that we all grew up watching. You know, the Tony the Tigers of the world.
Totally.
The Crossfire commercials and things like that. It's
Yeah.
like this shared experience that we all had. They're not going to be nostalgic about YouTube ads, right?
No, they're not going to be, but like I don't necessarily think like that's a bad thing.
It's not a- yeah,
You know what I
They'll
mean?
be
Like
nostalgic about the content, not
Right.
the ads around it.
yeah, like we're nostalgic in a way that I think, kind of just brings us back to like a fuzzy place, a warm fuzzy place.
Yeah.
Where I don't think what that fuzzy feeling does for us will be lost on them. They'll still have that.
Yeah.
It'll just won't be attached to a freaking brand.
Unless it's like an Old Spice, one of those Old Spice ads.
Yeah, something like that. I just thought that was an interesting headline to talk about.
Yeah.
Dylan's like kind of starting to like understand like television is
Uh-oh.
kind of cool. He likes Daniel Tiger. Do you know what that is?
No.
So listen to this. Daniel Tiger is like Mr. Rogers' weird animated like, spiritual successor.
Is his last name Tiger?
No, it wasn't Mr. Rogers' Tiger. What?
No, I mean Daniel. Is his last name Tiger?
Daniel Tiger.
So it's his last name. Is he also a tiger?
He's a little tiger.
Okay.
Yeah, let me pull him up for the uninitiated.
So this is a TV show?
This is a TV show on PBS. There
Aw.
he is. He's adorable.
I think
Looks like a
yeah.
Richard Scarry cartoon.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, it is. So it's very much in the vein of that.
Yeah.
But it is inspired by the world of Mr. Rogers. So
It's actually connected?
yeah, it's connected. So like the universe is so like it's basically if when Mr. Rogers were like going in the backyard, no one would ever question the fact that he had like a whole puppet world in his backyard, but he did.
Yeah.
And he's got like the trolley's there.
Oh, okay.
So like all the stuff that we know, like all the little.
Okay, so Daniel Tiger is the son of this other guy, Daniel Striped Tiger from the original Mr. Rogers' Neighbor.
Oh, I didn't realize there was actual lineage.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
a connection there. But who is Daniel Striped Tiger?
So that's his dad.
I know, but
From
can
the
you-
original?
I don't remember him from the original series.
I don't know.
I think he was a puppet, like a hand puppet.
Oh, it was very creepy.
Yeah. So up. No. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah,
Do you remember
he's a
this
hand
guy?
puppet.
Yeah,
He's
he's like
had
a
a-
sock
creepy.
with
What's creepy
eyes.
about
Yeah,
that?
he's had a couple makeovers. I don't like how he's wearing a watch there. That's upsetting me.
Yeah,
He needs to
there's
know what time it is.
Insurance commercials that have better production. than this.
I do like that TV.com rated Daniel Tiger 5.7 out of 10.
Hey, look, it's kind of screwed up. It's better than a 5.7. So it's a good show. Like, it's simple.
What does it teach kids?
He's not learning anything. He just likes the
Colors
cartoons and
and
the
stuff.
colors and
sort
the,
of falls
the
into the
songs.
Tinky Winky Teletubbies vein, which is like they're not learning anything. It's just like a baby and a son.
Yeah, but at least like this is more beneficial
How do you know?
than Teletubbies.
Sure.
There's
What's the
just more
difference?
substance here. Like they're not just like
Bee-boo.
they're not just like gibberishing back and forth.
Sure.
Like Daniel Tiger's like, when I fall down, it hurts, but it gets better. Like
Okay.
there's lessons and stuff.
Sure.
Like you should share, or your life's gonna suck.
Right,
Watch
and there's
out for Zika.
ethnicities on here too.
Say what?
Yeah, there's ethnicities, so it introduces kids to a world of color. I
Yeah,
like
they
that,
do a
too.
lot of that, which I thought was very
What
nice.
race is he? He's just a tiger.
Daniel's a tiger. What race is a tiger? Cat?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. That's what
Who's
they are.
Prince Wednesday?
Yeah, so Prince Wednesday's got a kid named Prince Tuesday.
Sure.
Oh God.
But like these were when he would go talk when Mr. Rogers would talk to the puppets.
I remember
they were
Prince
all
Tuesday.
yeah. That's them. Now they just have animated
Okay, so
versions.
this is animated. It's cheaper to shoot.
I guess. And
Prince
plus, Mr. Rogers is pretty dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's very dead.
Oh, don't.
Yeah,
Which
what?
episode do they cover that?
I don't know. He died like 13 years ago.
Does he wear? Does Daniel Tiger wear a sweater?
No, but he starts off like putting his shoes on.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
Takes
learned that
them
from
off,
his dead
though, right?
grandfather.
Because he's headed out.
Do you want to hear the sweetest Mr. Rogers story I've ever heard?
Sure. Because when you watch old Mr. Rogers stuff, that is a creepy thing. I got
No, it's
Taking
not
the shoes
creepy.
off?
Dude, the way he talks is just like, sit there while you watch me take my shoes off, and you're just like, why are we
No,
watch this
stop
old man?
it.
Like,
He's a nice guy.
He's always a nice
I'm not
guy.
trying to say he
No
was a creep, but
controversy.
like,
Here's the sweet story I have to rid your mind of that awful thought that Jeff had.
Ear bleach me.
So he had fish, and he would feed his fish every time he came into the house.
yeah.
But apparently, he got a letter from one of his fans. A small blind girl had her dad, I guess, write a letter, basically saying that she gets very upset when he doesn't say that he's feeding his fish because she can't see it. So ever since he got that letter, he says out
That's
loud,
sweet.
"I'm feeding the fish now,"
Yeah.
as a nod to this girl.
Good guy, Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like when he was given the Lifetime Achievement Award. There's a video of this on YouTube. In his acceptance speech, he instead of saying something, he said, "Let's have a moment of silence for all the kids that don't have a voice in this world." And then people just sat there for 2 minutes.
And then he threw the mic down.
and you could see people in the audience just crying.
Oh,
That's the effect that Mr. Rogers has on people.
Yeah.
Jeff, he's not some creep.
I didn't
our
say he
hero.
was a
You
creep.
did. You
I'm just
implied that he
saying
had a foot fetish and he wants kids to look at his feet. You definitely did.
that opening scene where he's just like, watch me take my shoes
He doesn't
off.
say that.
No,
He doesn't
I
say
know
that.
it
I'm going to
doesn't
take my
say
shoes
it.
off.
I
He
know.
takes his sweater off
I
and
know.
it's fine.
Just
He just
a
does
little-
it.
It's just a little.
And you expose your kid to that. So
I know,
it's
you
not,
can't.
it's not
it's a
anything
cartoon.
wrong.
It's a cartoon.
okay.
It's a cartoon. It's Daniel Tiger.
I do
Well-
think Daniel Tiger's nice because it makes parents it makes it a little more digestible to parents because they see where it's coming from, right?
Right. Totally.
That's for
and
you, not for him.
Right. And in the credits in the beginning, it says based off the works of Fred Rogers.
right.
This is his universe. This is his legacy.
Sure.
It's a beautiful honor that they pay to him. I'm serious. It's a very nice thing.
Yeah.
But there you have it. I don't know how we got to that, but he didn't have. I didn't say he had a foot fetish. God damn it! Oh man. Okay, I was in Ocean City, New Jersey over the weekend.
Okay.
If you've been listening to the show for a couple of years, you know that I kind of do this pilgrimage once a year to play pinball, and
That's where they shot the Jersey Shore,
get
right?
sunburn. No,
Isn't it close by, though?
no,
No, really?
no. They
Jersey
shot
Shore?
It, no, they shot that stupid effing disaster of a show in Seaside.
Oh, that's far away.
Sure, it's not Ocean City.
Is it like a minute away?
No, I don't know where Seaside is exactly.
You know, we recently hired a guy for our social team named Mike Sorrentino.
Okay.
Is that the same guy's name?
Yeah, and when he introduced himself to me, he was like, "Hey, I'm Mike Sorrentino,
Not
not
that
that
guy."
guy." Yeah,
That's
I don't
brutal.
even know who that is.
Okay, so Seaside Heights is like 100 miles away from
okay.
Ocean City.
Okay.
Acceptable.
Yeah, so that's where they shot that. Yeah, so okay. First things first. I just need to bring this up about boardwalk culture. If you've
Okay.
never been to you've been to the boardwalk. You've definitely been to the
Yes.
boardwalk. So you guys understand like the culture.
Sure, there's
there.
bootlegging,
There's
there's
a lot
like
of bootlegging.
gambling.
Yeah.
Not gambling.
There's,
What is
there's-
gambling?
There's like
A lot of weirdos.
gangsters shooting each other on.
Oh, not Boardwalk Empire.
You mean real boardwalks. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's that too at the Jersey Boardwalk.
Well, Atlantic City,
Wait,
perhaps.
you agreed with me on the bootlegging part.
Well, there is because like there's all this copyright
Bootleg
infringement.
t-shirts.
I was
yeah.
talking about booze. Okay.
No. There's all this copyright infringement. Like people sell shirts that say like whatever.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of kids under 18. So obviously there's Pokemon Go wherever you are. That's fine. But there was also like a lot of kids who were clearly not of voting age.
Okay.
But a lot of kids like rocking Trump shirts.
Like ironically?
Of course,
I don't know.
ironic.
I don't know like how they're perceiving this. Are they perceiving it as like, oh, that guy's a mess, let's wear it ironically?
So you mean these are younger, like 16-year-old type kids, right?
Yeah, like I'd say 14 to 16.
Because that's kind of like at that point, it feels like it's in
it's
a
like
good
a counterculture thing.
Yeah, I think they're doing it because their parents hate Trump and they hate their
yeah.
parents, therefore they love Trump.
Yeah, right.
Now,
That's
let's-
my interpretation of it.
Okay, so we're basically
Or it's ironic.
right. We're basically in like Eastern Philadelphia is where I was at.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if that provides
Philadelphia
more.
is like a very blue town.
Okay, right. The
Democratic
town's
town.
blue, but I don't know about the outskirts.
And I would also say, but you're right. In the country, you're talking about Bucks County and stuff like that, very red. It's very similar to New York in that way. Where
Yeah.
New York City is obviously very Democratic and then Republican.
I don't want to get into that whole thing, but I could not believe how much of that I was seeing.
That's surprising. I wouldn't have guessed that.
And I was like, are these kids joking around? Like, what's the deal? I didn't care enough
you
to
didn't
like
ask them.
Yeah, but like, what was it? I'd be like, hey, you wearing that ironically or for real, little kid? And he'd be like,
Also, did you just catch Charmander?
yeah, right. Dude, there's nothing weirder than like 4 dudes, okay, on their bikes being like, yo, I think there's a Jigglypuff over there. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Adults.
like
Yeah.
4 kids who aren't super young, but they're not, adults.
You want to hear something weird?
But they're not. They're like, you would think like guys on bikes at night would be tougher.
Sure.
And these guys are talking about like Charmanders and Jigglypuffs and Bulbasaurs.
Something weirder than that is being in the middle of Iceland in a town of 300 people and kids yelling each other in Icelandic that there's a Charmander around the corner.
Oh, man.
No joke. It's
That's weird.
Everywhere.
That is weird.
Everywhere. It's really bizarre. I've
That's
never
really
seen anything
bizarre.
like it.
Finally, before we say goodbye for the week, I just thought it would be appropriate if we did for a second. What?
I thought you were going to talk about the other thing.
No.
We're gonna end with that.
That's not.
I do want to. Yeah. Okay.
We'll save that for another time.
That's another time. I do want to talk a little bit about Gene Wilder, right? Yeah. I don't know. Like for me, Blazing Saddles is one of my favorite movies of
Yep.
all time. I forget what I was reading about him in that movie and how. Oh, I think Mel Brooks had a really nice sort of homage to him because they've worked numerous times together, obviously on The Producers and Blazing Saddles, and he was basically saying like that movie doesn't get made in 2016.
Oh, no. 100%.
Like
no.
nowhere near.
Yeah.
And like, he said he obviously I don't think anyone who sees that now, I guess you can sort of understand the time that movie was made and how it was poking fun at racism and stuff like that.
100% it was.
Right, of
Yes.
course. Like, but again, that's a movie that doesn't get made in 2016, and it was just really sort of heartwarming and touching to hear the words he had for that guy. Gene Wilder is one of the first, I guess, straight up hilarious comedians that I was maybe introduced to through Young Frankenstein, through a lot of the Mel Brooks stuff. And obviously, you got to talk about Willy Wonka.
Still one of my favorite movies.
That performance he
It's amazing.
gives in that film.
Like I remember being legitimately scared during
Yeah.
that moment where they're going through the tunnel.
boat.
Like the boat one scarred us all.
Going.
I heard a great production story that he told at a Y thing a few years ago, before he died, and he was talking about the first scene that Willy Wonka shows up. If you remember, he comes out of
limping.
right. He's limping. He comes out of the factory. So when he originally got the script, the director came to him. And Gene Wilder was like, hey, I want to do this thing where Willy Wonka comes out on a cane and he's limping, whatever. And the cane gets stuck in the concrete and he's like falls down, but then he turns it into a somersault and he's perfectly
pops up.
okay. And he said, the reason that I wanted to do that is because from that point on, you didn't know whether he was lying or telling the truth.
Yeah, it opens the door for that.
And the director said, so you won't do the movie if we don't do this? And Gene Wilder said, maybe. So I thought it was really funny.
So don't forget, he's also in Bonnie and Clyde.
Is he?
He's got a really sort of quick scene where he gets carjacked by the gang, and he's like in the back seat. It's a very weird scene.
Okay.
It just shows you like that dude's been around.
Yeah, sure.
That's a really old film.
I think he was one of the first movies I saw in a theater was See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I don't remember. I mean, I remember him being blind and Richard Pryor being deaf, or vice versa. I think it was vice versa. But when did that movie come out?
I was actually just about to look that up. So Hear No Evil, See No Evil was released back. Wow. So Bonnie and Clyde was 1967. Wonka was 71. Blazing Saddles is 74. Young Frankenstein 74 as well. That's crazy. Both of those Mel Brooks movies were in 1974. Oh, don't forget Silver Streak.
Yep.
Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. You were right. It was 1989.
So I was 6 years old.
Where were you going to see that movie?
I was taken to a lot of inappropriate movies when I was a very young child. Ricochet, my grandparents took me to Ricochet, and that was about that time. Denzel Washington movie, very violent and inappropriate. I think I saw Die Hard 2 when it first came out.
Good movie.
They just didn't care. They were like, I want to see this movie. Deal with it, child.
If you haven't seen The Producers, I feel like that's the film that a lot of people
it's
haven't
spectacular.
seen.
And the original, I don't like the remake, and I didn't really love
I didn't like the
musical.
remake, but I thought the musical was okay.
The original is and holds up, and it's like not in like a funny, oh, this is a classic movie kind of way. It's just like a legit
It's funny on its own.
hilarious movie.
Yeah. And then, of course, Young Frankenstein, too, man.
Yeah.
There's something about that. Have you seen Young Frankenstein?
I've seen Young
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
it's
I was
so
fucking
good.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. When that bookcase closes on his face, he's just like, now listen to me with all your might. It's pretty
He
good.
sits on the seesaw, and the girl goes flying.
Yeah, it's not bad. It makes me think. In the last 5 years, I've been thinking a lot about like, look, Mel Brooks is like 90. You
Right.
know, he's not going to be around that much longer.
Keep
like,
being surprised that he honestly hasn't died. I mean, it's grim, but like,
him, Carl Reiner,
right?
Yeah.
Like there's something, this like impending sort of sadness where it's like, oh, these, and I wonder, like, because I feel like Mel Brooks stuff has like shaped my funny sort of
Sure.
nuances and tendencies and whatnot, and I wonder, like, when that generation is fully extinct and gone,
Yeah.
and all we have is left is the material.
Yeah.
Like, is that gonna be funny forever? Like, I worry that like the stuff that I think is hilarious about Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein,
Sure.
and even stuff like Willy Wonka's in a different category. I wouldn't label that as a comedy, but
I think it will in the way that like when I saw Holy Grail, Monty Python and the Holy Grail for the first time, I was probably 10 or 11 or whatever, and it had been out for, I don't know, 15 years at that point, or 20 years,
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
still like made me lose my mind.
yeah,
I think there are certain things that are just timeless. I mean, honestly, like certain things about Buster Keaton you can watch
It's
and
still
be
good.
like, holy crap. Like
Yeah.
the fact that he did that stuff and like physically the most amazing
For
actor
sure.
I think there's ever been.
For sure.
So there are people and types of things that are just timeless and like, well, hold on.
yeah. Do you have an opinion on that? Like, what do you think about?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I remember watching what's it called, Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Oh my
that
God.
was like, I watched that in like the mid '90s. And
So
I was
good.
a little bit late too, and I remember just dying over it. Same with Airplane too.
Yeah.
Airplane still holds up if you watch it now on TV.
Okay, so I bring that up also, and again, like, you know, if you haven't seen any of these films we're talking about with Gene Wilder specifically, go watch them. So the new stuff, the stuff that we grew up with, okay, because we didn't grow up with Gene Wilder movies; those are before our time. But we grew up with stuff like Naked Gun,
Yeah.
which is still good.
Yeah.
Naked Gun, those movies are
Yes.
actually still pretty funny. But then okay, so this is really gonna pay a disrespect to like the content we've been talking about previously, but I happened to watch a good portion of American Pie again.
Okay.
That movie sucks. That movie's not
gonna tell
funny.
you that.
That movie's not funny.
No.
That movie's really
It
bad.
tries very hard.
That movie is so
Yeah, I haven't watched
god
it.
awful,
In years.
terrible.
Yeah.
And like I was watching it, and Stacy was next to me, and she's like, "I don't remember this being so shitty."
Right.
And I'm like, "I don't know what's happening," because when I think about like a movie like Can't Hardly Wait, I think Can't Hardly Wait's a better movie than American Pie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched that
And Can't Hardly Wait like
it's
kind
still
of holds
entertaining.
up. Can't
Well, it
Hardly
also
Wait-
taps into the perfect generation.
It does, and it has like a better lesson to teach. But I think like it does.
Don't F a pie.
Don't like what was the lesson there? But like you watch that movie now, the
Yeah.
four of them can't act to
Yeah,
save
sure.
their lives.
Right.
But then you're like the whole thing is just like, oh my god, this is so bad.
Yeah, it was sort of in that era of just like a bunch of unrelated scenes where like something either like sexy or gross or
Right.
silly happens.
Yeah.
But like none of the scenes were particularly good. It was just like, let's push the boundaries.
So think about how shitty we have it, right? You look at a movie like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That shit holds up.
Yeah.
That's still a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying that there aren't new comedies that will hold up in 20
I'm starting
years?
to worry. I'm starting to get a little paranoid that like movies made in 1990 and on, comedies, save for like Mrs. Doubtfire, which is still pretty funny.
All
like,
the Ace Ventura movies.
yeah, those are good.
Yeah,
Those are good.
Yeah, Ace Ventura.
Well, there's only 2, but yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like these teen comedies, like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
those
Do you
will
think
never-
like Superbad will be good in 5 years?
I think it
Like,
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superbad's not the best. It's not the
Yeah.
best.
I mean, I guess.
But how often do you
there's,
sit down and watch teen comedies from
Tot-
Oh, we
2
did.
decades
Wait,
ago?
are we exclusively talking about teen comedies now?
Well, that's I guess what it's sort of evolved into. But like when you look, when Fast Times is on television,
Yeah.
it takes a lot to turn it off because I think it's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same with 16 Candles.
And Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
like,
Breakfast Club. I'll always watch that too.
Ferris Bueller. Like again, what would you compare not Blazing Saddles. What would you compare like a Young Frankenstein to now? Like, what are those adult comedies?
It's what Paul Feig is doing. I mean, Ghostbusters wasn't well received, but like I would say, Bridesmaids is probably the closest
Is
comparison.
that going to hold up? Is
I don't know.
Spy going to hold up? That movie's not that good.
It's a good movie.
It's all right. It's okay.
It's hard to say. I think the reason a lot of those movies, I don't know, it's tough. Obviously, for the '90s movies, a lot of that's. I do think it's like the movies we grew up watching, so that makes a big impact.
We're biased for sure.
Right. But in terms of classic comedies from the last, I don't know. I'm really curious. I haven't watched it since I saw it in the theater, and I lost my mind. I thought it was so funny. Was Borat, and I'm really
yeah.
curious.
Borat's very good.
I lost my mind. It was so funny.
yeah,
Borat's good.
That movie's very good. You can't deny that.
I also
Yeah.
laughed really hard at Ted. I'm not gonna lie.
Ted's funny.
I don't know
Ted's
if I would
okay.
continue to rewatch it. That's the thing is rewatchability is a tough.
Yeah.
But I think the rewatchability meter is what dictates whether or not something has
long it'll
legs.
last.
Obviously,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
But
a
I
huge
also
part of it.
I also think it has something to do with whether you're kind of forced to rewatch it, where like those movies that would replay on Channel 11 or HBO or whatever nonstop. Those are the movies you end up loving. Like Clue was like that. It was on all the time, and I'm not saying Clue's a bad movie. It's a great movie.
It's also the best movie ever.
but
made.
like a song that like you might sort of like the first time you hear it.
Yeah.
The more you listen to it or watch it or whatever, you appreciate it
right,
more and more.
The vessels of which we're consuming the stuff is evolving. and
Right.
changing
Whereas here,
too,
you
so,
have
like-
millions of things at your fingertips to stream. You can
Right.
pick whatever you want to do. Are you going to rewatch something you've watched already?
Yeah.
Probably not. So
Yeah, I don't
a
know.
lot of levels. Gene Wilder's pretty great though. It's sad. It bums me out.
It is sad. He was 83. He did. He hung out.
Yeah.
And he had a great career. And there is I don't know if it's an autobiography or a little bit of what was his book? I want everyone to maybe, if you're looking for a new book and you're interested in Gene Wilder, I think it's called like Love Me or some sort of book that he wrote. What was it called?
I don't know.
I got to look it up. I got to look up his autobiography. And you should all check it out. It was called Kiss Me Like a Stranger.
Okay.
So I read like a couple portions of that, and I enjoyed that a great deal. Sorry it took me a second to find that. Mr. Justin Yu, thank you so much for sharing today's episode with us. Always a pleasure to have you
Thanks
here.
for having me. That was fun.
What do we got cooking with you?
What coming up?
Yeah, like what's going on? You want to plug anything? You want to?
No, just want to hang out with you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll
you're
come on
special.
whenever you guys want.
I appreciate that. Russ?
Speaking of Clue, my History of Clue video is up.
Yeah, it's very good. I
Thank
watched
you.
that. It's very good.
If you go to just youtube.com and search History of Clue, you'll probably see it. We had fun. Me and Justin McElroy put that together. We're trying to get another one done. He's about to go on vacation, but hopefully we can get another one finished.
So is that's gonna be like a series where you guys like do a lot of research on a thing and then talk about it?
essentially. The rubric is games.
Right.
So not specifically board games, not specifically video games, or
Just like the history of this game.
certain or like weird esoteric stuff. So
Just do like Simon
we'll see if there's enough history on Simon.
or like Mousetrap. I feel like
Mousetrap.
Mousetrap has a lot of history.
Organ Trail.
Mousetrap would be fun.
Yeah.
First one's up. Feel free to watch it. Hopefully you dig it.
Good stuff. We'll link to that in the show notes as well. So I'm gone. I'm leaving I'm not going to be around for 2 weeks.
Whoa.
So I don't know. We haven't talked about what we're going to do.
I mean, I have no capability of turning these things on.
Yeah, so maybe we would have Brian in helping you. Either way, there will be something each Friday.
Okay.
Hopefully not a rerun, but we'll figure it out.
When do you leave?
I leave a week from yesterday.
Oh.
So I'll be here for the Sony event, and then I'm out of here.
Cool.
All right. Until next time, have a fantastic weekend. Until then, I'm Jeff Baclar.
I'm Russ Frushtick.
And I'm Justin Yu.
This has been the 404 Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love having you here. Until next time.